you know what? I'm here to just please myself. I don't know if I can say that. Make myself pleased. Enjoy myself? Never mind. Hello! I must confess, I lied in my last video because I said that this video was going to be a new journey, but we're still in the Clone Wars because I forgot, but I planned to do a ranking video a long time ago and I forgot. So here it is. So basically what I want to do is I want to rank all Star Wars characters that we know from the prequel trilogy or the Clone Wars. Each season, at each end of the season, I want to do this ranking to see how my feelings towards each character evolves or doesn't. So I made a tier list. The tiers are very simple, from hated to favorite, and in between we have disliked, indifferent, liked, loved. Pretty clear. So let's dive in. The first character that we have to rank is Aayla Secura. Before watching the Clone Wars, I was clearly indifferent to Aayla Secura. No, that's a lie. I disliked her. Because the only thing that we have in the movies is when she dies, she kinda just... I don't know how to describe it, but she's very nonchalant when she dies. I mean, her body, obviously. So I disliked her for that. But now I would say that I like her right now. She's too attached for me to the Jedi Council and the Jedi way. Her entire discourse about attachment and how you have to be detached as a Jedi, and this conversation with Ahsoka was kind of a bummer, but besides that, she's very compassionate. She's a fierce warrior, although we didn't see much of her fighting skills, but yeah, I like her. She probably will be in the more downside of the liked tier. Then we have Admiral Yularen. So I didn't know this character before, and I must say that right now I really like him, but above Aayla. It could be a character that is very cold, but he is not. He is a secondary character, and I want to see more of him. I have no idea how it turns out, so we'll see. I expected him to die during the season 1, so I guess if you pass season 1, because he is a character that we see often, and because it's a children's animation series, I guess we're going to see a lot of him during the season, so I don't expect him to die right now, but we'll see. Then we have Anakin. So prior to the Clone Wars, I must say that No, to be completely fair, I hated Anakin. And then I rewatched The Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, and I was kind of indifferent with him. You know, he's the hero, and usually I dislike heroes. It's the case with the majority of stories that I read, watch, hear. I dislike the main character. But now that I saw the Clone Wars Season 1, I must say that I love Anakin. This character is getting so much power, but in character-wise, in his writing, he is very well written, and I really like him for that. So yeah, the first character I love. So a very, very powerful progression from hated to indifferent to loved because of the Clone Wars. That's huge. Now we have Ahsoka. So I didn't know Ahsoka before the Clone Wars, obviously. And I had a vision about her that I thought I was going to like her more than I did. And I'm a bit disappointed about how she's written so far, but I think it's only because it's the first season. So I must say that I like her, but that's it. I need to see more in order to have my feelings evolve in the right way with her. So she's in between loved and liked, but only because I know I will love her in the future. Very, very probably. After that, we have Bail Organa. Before watching The Clone Wars, I was totally indifferent of Bail Organa. And right now, I must say that I like him, but probably at the lower hand, because I like his political fights for the people, probably above Ayla. He's okay. He's a nice character. I want to see more. I know that in the last Revenge of the Sith version that I have all compiled the deleted scenes where we can see more of him. So we'll see at the end of the Clone Wars, like of the entire series, how I feel about him. Right now, I'm okay with him. Like, he's nice. He's politically driven on the good side. Not much to say about him. Barriss Offee. I only know that her character is going to be bigger in the future. I don't know in what way. I just know that Barriss Offee, I know this name because I saw it written somewhere. So I didn't know this character, and right now I am totally indifferent about her. We see a little, very, very small part in the 2D animation series, but beyond that, nothing. So I need to see more about this character in order to know if I like her or not. But right now, I'm totally indifferent. 3PO. 3PO is always a character I loved. My feeling didn't change about him. Like, he's very funny without trying to be funny. So I really like that kind of humor. So yeah, I would say 3PO, I love him. But just like Ayla, at the lower end of the love tier. So we'll see with other characters, but it will drop a few places towards the end of the love spectrum. Cody. I didn't know Cody prior to the Clone Wars. And I must say that I dislike him. We didn't see much of him in order for me to have a true opinion, but the only scenes that I have in mind, we have this very procedural mind, following orders as always, kind of rigid. So I need to see more about him again. But right now, I dislike him, but again, almost indifferent. Like, he's going to stay in the dislike section. For now, we'll see. Darth Maul. I always liked Darth Maul, and we didn't see him in the Clone Wars yet. I know he's going to come back, but I don't know when, and I know I will probably like him very much because he's voiced by Sam Witwer, and I really like him, so I probably like him probably there. He has a sweet spot in my heart because we only see him, I only saw him once in The Phantom Menace and in a couple of scenes. So a couple of scenes could mean that I hate him if he was portrayed as a character that I could hate, but it's not the case. We don't know about his political views. We only saw him speaking once, and it was about destroying the Jedi, perhaps, but it's Duel of the Fates. The acrobacy, the rage, the animal instinct that you can feel and you can see in his body. The very interesting character with only a couple of scenes. So I am not surprised at or that it was a fan favorite from the get-go when the Phantom Menace came out. So I put, just here, you can see, you're probably wondering, who is that? So that's Heavy, but I'm not going to rank Heavy. Heavy died, obviously, that was extremely sad. But I'm going to rank the Domino Squad in its entirety, with Echo, Fives, Cut Up, and the last one, I don't remember the name. Droid something, like Droid Bait, I think. Droid Bait, Fives, Echo, Heavy, Cut Up. That makes sense to me. So right now, only Fives and Echo are still alive. And this is a squad. They are my favorites. I love them. I am so sad that we had so few moments with Cut Up and Heavy, but I'm sure we're going to see more of Echo and Fives in the future, and I can't wait. Domino Squad all over, my favorite. Okay, Dooku. Dooku was my favorite character, completely, in the entire franchise with Qui-Gon, so we'll see Qui-Gon later. But the Clone Wars, I must say that I'm very not disappointed because it makes sense with the character, but the war crimes, too much for me, the war crimes. At every time you see him in the Clone Wars, you have war crimes. So I would not be surprised if it was like ideas from Grievous or Palpatine, but to me, Dooku is an idealist. His mind is a bit like Saruman, and it's weird because it's the same actor playing the character in both franchise, in The Lord of the Rings and Star Wars, but Christopher Lee, of course. But this mind of metal, but still with a bit of compassion in it, especially when we can see that towards Obi-Wan. So all the war crimes makes me love him still, but yes, there. So I want to see more about him personally. I want to dive in his intimacy, because right now we only have his political views, and they are very extreme. Typho. Okay, so it's Captain Typho, I think. Captain Typho, I am totally indifferent about him, probably above Barriss Offee because we know more of him, but I am totally indifferent. Like, I have not much to say about him. So yeah, I guess. Then we have Grievous. I hated him. Plain and simple. I hated this character. Because, you know, in the movies, we only have the coughing creature, pitiful. His fight with Obi-Wan is a bit impressive, you know, with the... I did that perfectly, I think. But beside that, nothing. This character, nothing. But after watching the Clone Wars, especially the 2D series and the Clone Wars, we have our biggest jump yet. Because I must say, I probably love him above 3PO. That's huge. I'm still waiting for more seasons, and I know he's going to be there the entire time because he's there in the Revenge of the Sith. So I think by knowing more about him, his past and motivations and all of that during the next 6 seasons, so the more we can see about him, the more I can judge if I really love him like in the 2D animation series, or if I drop him in the like section because the coughing pathetic creature get on my nerves a bit. So, yeah, Anakin and him jumping from the hated to the loved category, it's huge. So they did that really well. Jar Jar Binks. The first time I saw Jar Jar, I hated him. I thought, like a lot of people, that the humor was not good. It was badly written, racist, obviously. But since I know of the Darth Jar Jar, that's why I choose this picture. Since I know the Darth Jar Jar theory, I must say that I like him a lot. Probably there. But now I saw the Clone Wars. That's tricky. I'm going to let him stay there. To me, it's very obvious that Jar Jar is force sensitive, and I still think that he is an agent of the Sith without even maybe knowing it, or at least an agent of chaos, in a good or bad way, depending on the situations. But most of the times when he does something very clumsy, it turns out good for the Republic. So yeah, I think that's good. Ki-Adi-Mundi. I didn't know this character very much. I was totally indifferent about him before, and I don't remember if we saw him in the Clone Wars 3D animations yet, but we saw him in the 2D animation series, and he was fierce. So, but once again, I know about this character because of the lore, and I know this character is shitty. Like, I know I probably hate him as a character because of the lore, but if I want to stay true to myself, like right now, I need to see more about him, but I'm quite indifferent, but probably there, because he was fierce in the 2D animation series. Kit Fisto. Kit Fisto, I hated him before watching the Clone Wars because he died very quickly in the Revenge of the Sith, and in Attack of the Clones we have the famous smile, creepy smile. So I hated him, but it's not like a big jump like Anakin or Grievous, because it's not a huge character yet. So I must say, probably my favorite now. As for Darth Maul, because we see a little of Fisto, he has a very good amount of time for us to love him, but not enough time for him to be able to do shit. So we saw him in the battle of the Calamari planet. I don't know the name of the planet, but the Calamari planet in the 2D series, when he was very much He-Man, himbo. And in the 3D series, we saw him with his old Padawan, now a knight, and having him showing distress when the ex-Padawan dies, and all the fighting, and him being very patient and gentle and charming still, makes him one of my favorites for sure. But then watching more of him, I will probably downgrade him in the future. But right now, he's there. Luminara. I was totally indifferent of Luminara before. We didn't saw her much in the movies, and we saw just a little bit of her in the 2D animation series. But in her episode or episodes, I don't remember, but the episode when she faces Ventress, she is so good and very unlike Ayla. She's more in a self-reflection, knowing when she did something wrong, when she did something right, and she's okay because she's okay with herself because she knows where to place herself in the grand scheme of things, and she knows that she can make mistakes. So I must say I loved her. The same for Fisto and Maul and Qui-Gon. If we only see them a short amount of time, they don't have much time to fuck up. So, Mace Windu. I hated Mace Windu. I hated a lot of characters in the past. But watching the Clone Wars and the 2Ds and the last episodes, I like him a lot. Probably more than Jar Jar. Yes, makes sense. Very powerful, a bit too political for me. I don't like the stance on liberty that he said in the last episode. That was not good. But beyond that, he is a very interesting character. Very focused and grave. Newt Gunray. I was totally indifferent about Newt Gunray in the past. And seeing the Viceroy arc, the video is available on Ko-fi and Dailymotion, as always. But the Viceroy arc showed him being a pawn, being very coward, and I liked him. Probably there. Yeah. He's an interesting character, very one-dimensional, but it's okay. We need to have those. It's alright. Oh, Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan was my favorite. I mean, one of my favorites with Dooku and Qui-Gon. Very interesting character, very powerful, but in the soft side of the Force, not a shower, more a talker, I would say. But I mean, the last episodes of the Clone Wars were very good with Obi-Wan, but I must say that I'm downgrading him just because we saw him being very too much sense. This character makes too much sense. I want to see him being more wild as a character. I want to see the flaws more obviously than what we saw. Yeah, that's it. Padme. I disliked Padme in the past. Then I watched Attack of the Clones and I realized she was a badass, so I liked him. And now watching the Clone Wars, she's very resourceful, she's very powerful in her own way. I like her probably above Mace Windu. I know a lot of people love Mace Windu, but I'm not that kind of fan. And I think I prefer Padme. I really like the fact that she's always a damsel in distress, but even though she's a damsel in distress, she's not always rescued only by the means of others. It's only because she is resourceful that they manage to save her. So she's not totally hopeless and... No, she's not totally hopeless. Like, absolutely not. She's resourceful. I always said that, so yeah. Palpatine. I don't remember how I felt about Palpatine. I always liked him. This character is very interesting, especially in the Revenge of the Sith. We didn't see much of Palpatine during the Clone Wars, so I'm going to put him there. I should have put Sidious too. Never mind. I think this character is really interesting. Not very much in the Clone Wars, but we'll see. We still have 6 seasons to go, so we'll see in the future how it goes. Plo Koon, Master Plo Koon. I hated this character, and that was just racial prejudice, of course, because he is ugly. I mean, he was ugly in my mind. And also, we didn't see him talk, I don't think, in the films. I don't think so. But the Malevolence arc was so good, and the character is so well written that I must put him in the favorite, I would say. But once again, the more time we will see him, the more time he will have to fuck up and to get downgraded. The same for the Domino Squad, obviously. Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon was always my favorite, will stay my favorite, and probably above anyone else. This character is so interesting, very compassionate, very powerful, even though we didn't see him much using the Force. I don't know what they plan to do with this character in the series in the future, but I would love to see him more with Dooku, his whole master, and fighting. I want to see more of Qui-Gon. But this character is so good. Rejecting the council, rejecting being a member of the council, shows how pragmatical, down to earth he is. He knows that the Jedi are flawed, especially the Jedi Council. So I just love Qui-Gon and I love Dooku, and they are each part of the same coin in my mind. It's changing because Dooku and his war crimes are changing that, but I really love that duality. Okay, R2-D2. You know what? Probably one of my favorite characters. Also, basically none of what happens in Star Wars would have happened without R2-D2. So this character is extremely important, and it's just a robot with a few noises, and you can just fall in love with him during the entire saga. And yeah, he's funny, he's resourceful, he's I don't know, when we lost him, I felt so bad during the Battle of the Droid arc, because just losing R2 is too much to bear. Rex, I love him. I love him very much. I love him probably more than Grievous because of the pathetic creature side of Grievous. Rex is such a good character. I can't wait to see more of him. I want to see more of... he's not the same character at all. Not at all. But I would love to have an episode with Rex alone, just like we had Zuko alone in Avatar: The Last Airbender. I want to see more of his personality. Just as Dooku, I want to see in Timothy. I want to see him behaving not like a soldier. I don't know. I want him to be lost on a planet and being rescued by natives of this planet, and see him, like the episode would be saving Rex, because Anakin can't lose Rex, you know, so. And the Rex part would be just him with the locals and trying to solve a problem. I don't know how, but I would love an episode like that, just with Rex alone. Ventress. So I had a very, 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 very powerful emotion, a very powerful feeling towards Ventress before watching the Clone Wars, because I knew she was going to be badass, especially in the 2D animation series. The problem is, in the Clone Wars series, the 3D animation series, she's too much failing for my tastes. So I would have loved her, but I'm probably just liking her below Palpatine. That makes sense. Again, I want to see more of her. I have no idea how she finishes. If she finishes, I guess she dies at one point, because if she didn't, we would see her in the new series. Maybe not Ahsoka. I don't know all the characters of Ahsoka, but I don't think I saw any article about Ventress coming back in the live action. So she probably dies, but I don't know how. I don't know when. Probably late. Probably in season, I don't know, 6 or even 7. I don't know. We have a lot of time for her to succeed. She's such a badass. I need more of her. And Yoda. Yoda, I think, is, just like R2, a very easy character to fall in love with. In The Empire Strikes Back, the goofy style of this character, and then becoming this Jedi Master in front of Luke's eyes. That's such clever writing. Where do I put him? Not in the like, in the loves, that's for sure. I probably love him more than Obi-Wan at this point. More than Anakin too. Can I have? Yes. Yes, I think so. Yeah. I need to see more of Yoda. Same in Timothy. I wouldn't mind an entire episode of Yoda just wandering around and doing exactly exactly what we had in, again, Avatar: The Last Airbender, with the tales of Ba Sing Se, where you have Uncle Hyro, just wandering about and meeting people and teaching, and at the end going to the tree and singing for his son. This episode, I cry every time I watch it. This is so good. I would love an episode like that, where you have a very actiony part, and then you have just a few scenes with Yoda just wandering and teaching to the students, the children, the old ones in the temple. That would mean so. That would be so good. I would love that. A very simple episode about just war, raging war, and just Yoda being Yoda and spreading his faith, his power, and his wisdom all around him. I would love that. I think I have a lot of good ideas for the Clone Wars, so it's a shame that this series got finished, because I think I would have made a good, if not writer, but a good idea person on this show. So let's see. Do we agree with this ranking? Yes, I think so. This is a nice ranking. The only character I disliked out at the moment is Cody, and I think that's fair. Once again, we'll see in the future. But I like all characters, and it would be an entirely different ranking, an entirely different tier list if I didn't watch the Clone Wars. I should have done that just before watching the Clone Wars to see all the difference, but Anakin, Grievous, Mace Windu, Jar Jar. We have 4 characters that I like or love that were in the hated category just before watching the Clone Wars, so that's huge. Anyway, that's it. So we'll go back to the Clone Wars in a few weeks, but just before that, we're going to watch totally different genre, but you know what? I'm here to just please myself. I don't know if I can say that. Make myself pleased. Enjoy myself? Never mind. I'm here just to just enjoy things. If you're there because of the Clone Wars and Star Wars, I will go back there very, very quickly. I can't wait too much because I want to dive in, and the second season is going to be better than the first one, I'm sure. They know what's working, what's not working, so we'll see. But yeah, I will see you very soon. Don't forget to drink water, as always, and take a good care of yourself. Bye!